Gillian Keegan.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. Well, I, for one, am pleased to see the national living and national minimum wage continue to increase and support the lowest paid. And it's frequently the case that those on the minimum wage have the hardest jobs and jobs which many of us, well, they're vital to our daily lives. Carers are just one example, and many of us who have had a relative cared for know just how demanding this work is, but how invaluable, indeed priceless, it is as well. And we need to make sure that carers and many on the minimum wage are properly rewarded for their work, as everybody rightfully should be. So the government has made some promising steps in this regard, with net wages for somebody on the minimum wage increasing by 39% since 2010. It's estimated that 2,600 people in Chichester are either on the national living or national minimum wage, and all are set to benefit by the above inflation increases to their hourly rate. And that represents about 6% of the local workforce. And Chichester Chamber of Commerce and Industry has welcomed the government's acceptance of the Low Pay Commission's recommendations. And the CCI have said that Chichester businesses want to recruit the very best employees, and this needs to come with a decent wage. I completely agree, and I'm also encouraged that the CCI does not foresee any adverse effects on local businesses because of the proposed increases. I'm not saying that raising the minimum wage alone is the silver bullet, but because of these proposed increases, a full-time minimum wage worker will see their earnings increase by over £2,750 annually next year, which is a number of Freddo bars, I think. And this is good news on top of other government measures, like increases to the personal tax allowance. And I also wanted to celebrate the 20p increase of the hourly rate for an apprentice. It represents by far the biggest proposed increase, a 5.4% rise compared to current rates. And this will be a welcome boost to the pockets of the 540 people who started an apprenticeship in Chichester this year. But let's not forget that many people, this is a minimum wage, and many people pay above the minimum wage to apprentices. I myself was an apprentice, aged 16, more than 30 years ago, and I think the Labour policy at the time actually wasn't to pay the same minimum wage to me at 16 as you would at 50, but it seems that that could be the policy they're about to introduce, according to the front bench. And actually, many people pay above the minimum wage to apprentices, but also apprentices are getting valuable new skills which are sponsored and paid for by their employers. But as a newly appointed apprenticeship ambassador, and with National Apprenticeship Week coming up, this increase will be one of the benefits of taking this route into the workplace, as well as learning the skills that you need. And I, for one, will be welcoming that. And with employment at an all-time historic low under this government, this has resulted in only 1.2% of people in Chichester actually being unemployed. And so the Job Centre's aim to get everybody a job, get them a better job, and then move them into a career is a realistic ambition, and the minimum wage will help along that journey. So I welcome the proposed increases, and I'm pleased that we are on our way to making the national living wage reach 60% of median income by 2020. Hard-working people deserve an income that is reflective of their importance to our economy and the services we rely on daily. We all want to make sure that work pays, and I think these inflation-beating increases are a good step in making that a realistic prospect. Thank you.
Chris Stevens.
Well, thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. It's my first statutory instrument in the Chamber, I should say. It's a pleasure to see you in the chair, and it is a pleasure to follow the honourable member for Chichester. Now,